Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 6 of this tactics test series. We're running a new tactic test today with 4 teams across the top 5 leagues in Europe. First of all, let's run the intro. So ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 6 of the series. We're running a new tactic today. Just again, very quickly to run over the housekeeping rules. We're doing 4 teams across 5 of the top leagues in Europe. We're going with Nice in France because they have no European football. Tottenham Hotspur in England because they have Europa Conference football. Lazio in Italy because they have Europa League football. And Wolfsburg in Germany because they have Champions League football. We'll want to test a tactic with not only their own domestic leagues and cup competitions, but also the different levels of European football as well. But first of all, let's get a look at the tactic and the team and player instructions as well. So first of all, we have a look at the tactic. We have a 4-3-3 formation. This one's called the Exorcist. Again, might be a little bit hard to see there with the colors. It's picked out of Ted Lasso, the name of this. It's called the Exorcist because it's all about control and possession. We very much want to dominate in midfield. We have found that from the tactics test, this is our top win ratio tactics, so it is. So we've won a total of 140 games out of 205 games altogether. That's a 68% win ratio. Just having to check the spreadsheet for the stats there. So we'll get a look at the team instructions first of all. As we can see here, we've an attacking mentality, fairly wide standard width. So we are going to play the ball out of defence through the middle of the park. And we're also going to get our fullbacks on the overlap as well. We're going to pass the ball into space and make those runs. We're going to pass the ball shorter. We're going to play with a higher tempo. In the final third, we're going to aim some low crosses into the box. We're also going to work the ball into the box and we're going to run at the defence also. In transition, as always, we're going to counter press. We're going to counter attack. The goalkeeper is going to distribute to our centre backs. And out of possession, we're going to go with a higher line of engagement, higher defensive line. We're going to initiate the offside trap as well. We're going to force the opposition inside, so we don't want the defenders going wide. We want to force them to come inside and into the defensive block that we're building with the defence in the midfield. We're going to trigger more often and we're going to try and prevent the goalkeeper from short distribution as well. So that's the team instructions. We will get a look at the player instructions. First of all, we have a goalkeeper on defend duty, no additional instructions needed. Both our fullbacks are on wing back in support duty. Both are instructed to sit narrower and also to aim our crosses towards the target forward. In the middle of the defence, we have 2 ball playing centre backs on defend duty, no additional instructions. Immediately in front of them, we have a 3-man midfield, the middle player of which is a deep line playmaker on defend duty, no additional instructions. On the left side, we have an advanced playmaker. He is on support duty, so he will support both the attack and the defence. We have instructed to dribble more, roam from position, stay wider, tackle harder, mark tighter. We do want him to kind of come out here and fill in those spaces while our fullback is sitting more narrow, try and create more of a defensive wall which to block the attack, and also to try and force them through the inside as well, where they'll be met with our centre backs and our deep line playmaker also. On the right side of midfield, we have a Mezzala on attack duties. No additional instructions there. And again, he will perform a similar role. He will naturally come a little bit wider here, create support, and will also come into these gaps. These gaps will be left by our inside forward, who's going to cut inside more. We have instructed him to stay wider, so when he's in possession, he can go wider and whip crosses in, but we do want him to come in here when the fullback gets further forward, so that they're obviously not marking up spaces, but also that it can create problems in those little half spaces here. We also have instructed to shoot less often because we want him to be looking for our attacking forward and our opposition winger as well to look to play the ball to them more often. On the left side, exactly the same. Inside forward on attack duty, shoot less often, stay wider. That's fine, that's not a problem. And up front, we have an advanced forward on attack duty, take more risks, shoot more often, as you would expect any striker to do. We also want to tackle harder and mark tighter because we want them to get more involved and stop the defence from playing out from the back. So that is it for the team instructions and the player instructions. Let's have a look at the results and how we performed, and we'll go to France first of all with Nice. So with Nice, we find that yet again we performed very well. I'm starting to think maybe Nice are just a really good team in this game. We finished second in the league again. It almost feels like that's an obvious position, almost as obvious as PSG finishing top, because PSG are going to run away with it. As we can see, PSG played 38, won 37, drew 0, lost one game. That one game was to Montpellier, who finished sixth in the league, as we can see. So PSG, obviously, they're just an impossible team. They're overpowered, you might say. They're an impossible team to beat in this year's Football Manager. But we have come in second, a full 21 points behind them, but we are 10 full points ahead of Strasbourg, who finished in third. We did lose 9 games in total. Some of those games you can't really say anything about. We lost 5-0 to Monaco. There's only really 1, 2, 3, 4 of those games that we've lost by a goal that we may have maybe stole a point or stole a win from, but those extra points we would have made wouldn't have made any difference to us really. But we've done very well there. We've finished second in the league. In the Coupe de France, we've gone out in the 11th round, which, as we know, is the third round of entry. So we enter in the 9th round. As we can see there, we beat Grenoble in the 9th round, then the 10th round, and we played against Angers, beat them 2-1, and in the 11th round then we've lost on penalties to, is it Nîmes Olympic, I think you call them. A little bit of a giant killing. They are a league below us. We probably really should have done better than that. But that's okay. Again, 11th round is kind of maybe a bit of an average for Nice. But we'll look at the players, and as we can see, Andy Delors, 32 goals in 33 games. That's a fantastic return, I think. It's almost 100% record. It's almost 1 goal a game. We're absolutely delighted with his contribution in the goals. He's even contributed with 7 assists as well, which our strikers so far in the series haven't really contributed a lot of assists. Kelvin Stengs coming in with 16 goals. Justin Kluivert coming in with 13. The two of them playing on opposite wings. Amine Aguirre coming in with 9, and even Todibo coming in with 5 goals as well. So we've performed pretty well there. In terms of assists, Kelvin Stengs with 21, Justin Kluivert with 13, and Youssef Attal with 9 as well. And our player of the season, unsurprisingly, is Andy Delors, Kelvin Stengs, and Todibo coming in third. Having a quick look at the league and the stats themselves. I mean, obviously PSG are going to run away with it. Therefore, Kylian Mbappe is going to finish top goal scorer. But Andy Delors has come in second with 32 goals. Delors finished third and Stengs in fourth in the best players of the season. Neymar and Mbappe. Top 2, obviously. Kelvin Stengs has come in with the most assists in the league, so we're delighted with that. And Kluivert coming in 4th place there. Kelvin Stengs coming in the top 5 with player of the match. Pablo Rosario with the 2nd most yellow cards. Not a favourable statistic, but it's fine. We can work with it. It's not a problem. So overall, we've done pretty well with Nice. It's probably, in terms of position and things like that, it's probably a bit of an average. We have finished with 80 points, which is fantastic, and 80 points in most other leagues probably would, if not win you the league, would at least finish in second anyway. Obviously PSG are they're just a ridiculous team, so they are. So that's how we get on in France. Let's go to England. Let's look at Tottenham Hotspur and see how they get on. So here we are in North London, and we have performed pretty well yet again. We've finished in 4th place in the Premier League, which we're delighted with. We've lost 7 games. We've lost to Villa, we've lost to Norwich, we've lost to Crystal Palace, games which I feel like we probably could have won. Those games, actually looking at those results, all finishing 1-0. I really feel we should have at least got a draw out of those. If we had a drawn those 4 games, we would have finished in 3rd. If we had have won even 2 of those games and drawn the other 2, we would have finished in, well, we would be 3rd again, but joint 2nd. Maybe if we had won 3 of those games, we could have finished in 2nd place. But we've done very, very well there, and I'm thrilled to finish in 4th and get Champions League football in the first season. Having a quick look at the league stats before we go into the team stats. Not really an awful lot to boast about here. Hugo Lloris, 3rd most clean sheets with 14. Emerson Royal, again, right back with the 3rd most yellow cards. Sessegnon, most distance coverage. And Reguilon, actually with a very high tackles per 90 rate there as well. Harry Kane not making it into the top goal scorers chart. We see Lukaku there coming in 5th with 19 goals. As we can see, Harry Kane finished with 17. In the Carabao Cup, we have got to the final and we have lost to Man City, which is a little bit disappointing. We can't actually see that because it was so long ago now. But we've done pretty well. We've got to the final. We're absolutely thrilled with that. It's a silver medal. It's fine. But the Europa Conference League, we've won it against Antwerp in the final. We're absolutely thrilled with that. So we are. A pretty evenly balanced match. As we can see, we're a little bit ahead in the stats. We're a little bit better than them on the day. Probably the scoreline doesn't really reflect the statistics. Very surprised to see Harry Winks and Ben Davies both contributing goals, not renowned for their goal scoring, either of them, and Heung-min Son as well. So it was wrapped up within 40 minutes, really. And as you can see there, Antwerp did miss a penalty just before we took the 1-0 lead. If they had scored that, maybe that would have changed the complexity of the game. Who knows? It doesn't matter. We don't care. We won a gold medal. So absolutely delighted with that. And in the FA Cup, we've got the semi-final against Man City, who have gone on to beat Southampton. Who beat Liverpool in the other semi-final. So absolutely thrilled with that. We finished in 4th. We've won a trophy. We've come 2nd place in another trophy. So that's great to see. Looking at the team stats themselves, we see Harry Kane played 62, scored 43 goals. This is a great return. This is probably Harry Kane's best return on goals so far. I don't really remember the previous stats, the previous tactics for number of goals. But we can see there also Heung-min Son contributing 17 goals, Kulusevski with 15, Lucas Moura with 13, Bergwijn and Højbjerg again scoring 10 or more goals. So Højbjerg is definitely, if you're starting a new game of Football Manager and you're choosing Tottenham Hotspur to manage, although in real life I'm not his biggest fan, I have to say in the game he actually performs very, very well. Scores quite a number of goals, also contributes quite a number of assists as well. So in terms of assists, obviously Lucas Moura coming in with the most at 18, Heung-min Son with 16, Harry Winks and Harry Kane coming in with 11 assists each as well. Emerson Royale in at right back with 9 and Ben Davies at left back contributing with 8. And just having a look at our other left backs, we can see Reguilon scored 4, assisted 3, and Ben Davies is further up, scoring 4, assisting 8 as well. So our fullbacks have done very well for Spurs. Looking at the average ratings for the season, we're going to discount Galini again because he only played 5 games. We're going to discount Joe Rodon because he only played 2 games. Davinson Sanchez, Emerson Royale coming in top of the charts. Harry Kane coming in 3rd, and Højbjerg and Davies coming in 4th and 5th respectively, and Hugo Lloris coming in 6th as well. So very good for the goalkeeper as well. So with Tottenham, we've done very well. We finished 4th. We've got a silver medal. We have a gold medal. Absolutely thrilled with how that's gone. Let's go to Italy. Let's have a look at Lazio and see how they got on. And here we have it with Lazio. We have won the league, 2 tactics in a row. Absolutely thrilled with this. So we are. As you can see, we've won the league by 3 points. We've won it on the last day of the season, really. Probably not the last day. We're not going to look at the specific fixtures, but as you can see, we'll have a little look at the league itself and the past positions. And as you can see, we've actually done fantastically well. After week 3, we went top of the league and we maintained that throughout the whole season. So absolutely thrilled with that performance. As you can see from the stats, and we're going to look at this in a little bit more detail because we know that this is maybe a little bit ridiculous. Ciro Immobile in 38 league games has scored 57 goals. Incredible statistic. Ciro Immobile is one of those players that is absolutely fantastic in Football Manager. If you're going to start a game in Italy in Serie A and you want to pick Lazio, definitely get Ciro Immobile on this tactic as well. Highly, highly recommended. Unsurprisingly, he's finished with a 7.91 average rating, player of the season. And as we can see from the assists, with 3 players in the top 5 assists. Ciro Immobile, unsurprisingly, most man of the matches as well. And we can see down the bottom here, Manuel Lazzari with the 2nd most dribbles per 90 minutes in the league. So that's how we've done in the league this year. We'll have a quick look now at the Europa League. And we finished in runner-up to Milan on penalties. As we can see here, Ciro Immobile with 20 goals in this competition. So it's definitely this tactic is absolutely designed for Ciro Immobile. As we can see, with Milan, a pretty even game. They probably had a little bit more of the advantage in terms of stats. In all fairness, they've had more shots, more on target, better XG. They haven't hit the woodwork as much as we have. They haven't as many clear-cut chances. We have had more possession, but it went to a lottery. We lost 5-4 on penalties. I'm not sure who missed that penalty. It was Cabral, which for a striker you would expect maybe, or an attacking player at least, you would expect maybe a bit better. But it's fine. You know, we got to the final. We have a silver medal there as well. So we're very, very pleased with how this has gone with Lazio. In the Coppa Italia, we've got the quarter-final. We lost to Atalanta. Let's get a little check there. And that was a 1-0 loss as well. Atalanta have gone on then to get knocked out by Juventus, who, as we can see there, lost to Inter in the final. So we've done pretty well. We've won the league. I mean, we're absolutely thrilled with winning the league, so we are. We've come runner-up. We got a silver medal in the Europa League. So across the 3 competitions already, that's 1 league title, 1 second place, 1 fourth place. We've 1 runner-up medal in the Carabao Cup. We have a runner-up medal in the Europa League and a winner's medal in the Europa Conference League. We'll get a look at the player stats. We're going to look at Immobile first because it's just crazy. It's just crazy. So as we can see, 78 goals in 53 games. This tactic is absolutely mind-blowing for Ciro Immobile. If you get Immobile or a striker of his caliber, this tactic is going to score you an awful lot of goals. 78 goals in 53 games. I don't even know what percentage that is, but it's a very good percentage. He's even contributed with 7 assists as well. Following on from that, as we can see, even Zaccagni's coming in there with 20 goals. Pedro coming in with 19 goals, both playing off the 2 wings. And Luis Felipe from the back contributing 8. Milinkovic-Savic, Bazic, Alberto and Cherby all contributing with 7 and 6 goals respectively each as well. In terms of assists, obviously there's a lot of assists because Immobile has scored a lot of goals. Luis Alberto, Milinkovic-Savic and Zaccagni all coming in with more than 20 assists each, and even Pedro contributing with 15 assists as well. Unsurprisingly, Immobile is our highest rated player. Strakosha, we're just going to write that off because he played 1 game. Luis Alberto, Milinkovic-Savic, Acerbi and Lazzari as our best players of the season. So with Lazio, I mean, we're absolutely delighted. We've won the league. We've come second place in the Europa League on a penalty shootout. It's a lottery. You can't predict it. We've got the quarterfinals of the Coppa Italia. So very, very pleased overall with that. Let's jump over to Germany. Let's see how we get on with Wolfsburg. So here we are in Germany. We're looking at Wolfsburg and we're very, very pleased with this tactic again. We finished in second place in the league, a full 5 points ahead of Borussia Dortmund, who, as we all know, are fantastic. And in this stage of the season, they do have Erling Haaland as well. So even he couldn't take Dortmund to second place. We've been able to pip them to it. We've won 3 games more. We have a few games there that, and as you can see, of one of the games we have lost to Dortmund very, very heavily, 6-1. So not thrilled about that, but it doesn't matter. We've beat them to second place in the league. We'll have a little look at the stats here. As we can see, Jonas Wind coming in with 20 goals, makes him the top 5 goal scorers. Maxence Lacroix has come in 4th best player in the league, and Jonas Wind with the 3rd most man of the match awards. Having a little look at the table, as we can see the stats there. We'll have a quick look at the positions, and as we can see, we were in second place throughout we were in first place at the start of the season for quite a bit. We then took the 4-1 defeat to Cologne, and we maintained second place after that. Getting a little look at Bayern Munich, obviously this is where they've gone into first place, and they have maintained first place throughout. So pretty pleased with how we got on in the league. In the Champions League, we got to the first knockout round. We got knocked out by Atletico Madrid. We'll just get a look and see there. We went out 2-1 on aggregate. We lost to them, obviously at home there. This is a 0-0 in the away game. Atletico Madrid have gone on to get knocked out by Man United in the next round. So we would have played Man United in the next round had we beat them, and who knows where it would have went from there. In the DFB Pokal, we've got to the semi-final where we were beaten by Borussia Dortmund, who then went on to beat Bayern Munich in the final. As we can see, we lost to Dortmund 1-0, so that's okay. I mean, that's not the worst. It's a 1-0 game. I'm not sure if we can see the stats on this. 25th minute, I mean, there's plenty of time we could have turned that around. But Dortmund, looking at their XG, looking at the shots, well, in terms of stats, it was pretty even, except for the XG. They were actually a lot better than what we were. So we've lost 1-0 in the semi-final. They've gone on to win the final. So it's fine. You know, we'll consider that a third, fourth place ranking, I guess you could say. Looking at the player stats themselves, as we know, Jonas Vind with the most goals, finishing on 26 in 41 games. Lucas Demecha coming in with 19 goals, and Waldschmidt coming in with 18 goals, both playing off the wings. Luka Bacchio coming in with 14 goals as well. In terms of assists, we have Waldschmidt with the most on 13, Demecha with 11, and Maximilian Arnold with 10. And our best player of the season was Lacroix. Second was Arnold, third was Jonas Wind, and so on. So this tactic has performed very well for us. As we say, we dominate quite a lot of possession in the centre midfield. Ciro Immobile has just been absolutely fantastic in this. I mean, 78 goals is just a ridiculous stat to get over the course of the season. Had we performed a little bit better in some of the cups, if we might have got another couple of goals, it might have broke the 80 goal barrier. But it's all what ifs, really, isn't it? But this tactic has proved to be very, very good for us. Absolutely delighted with the results. Again, a few little tweaks here and there. Some of those draws, some of those defeats, we could turn those into wins. But that's it for this tactic. That's called the Exorcist. As you can download it from the link in the description below. And we hope you've enjoyed this, and we will be back in episode 8 of this tactics test series as we're getting closer to the end, and by that stage we will have a kind of a final prediction, a bit of a final roundup, and we will see what works best in certain aspects, and we'll try and build an overall tactic that is maybe better throughout. But that is it from us for now. I hope you've enjoyed this. Please do follow along, and if you have any questions, please leave your comments in the comment section below. We would love to hear from you. We would love to hear your progress and how you get on with this tactic as well. That's all for now. Thank you and take care. Hi guys, thanks for watching. I really hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have, please do hit that subscribe button. It helps us to bring you more videos like this in the future. In the meantime, you can watch one of these recommended videos, and we will see you in the next one. Thanks again and take care.